The artist for us is, or the INFP, ENFP, this is about the introverted feeling function. So the introverted use of the feeling function, right? It is in the right emotional brain. That is where this particular function is rooted, and it is all about creating. Okay, so it is driven by a need to be creative. So the function itself is the relational function, the relating function, but the predominant need of this style, of this use of that particular function, the introverting of the feeling function or the relating function, is about the need to be creative. And that's where they're coming in. So if you're an artist, you're coming into your relationships through that place, okay? So what does that mean? They're driven by a need to create. And so this style, of all of the styles, intense and passionate, okay? Important things to know and understand about them. They seek authenticity, deep, relating, sort of meaningful connections with other people. And really that freedom to be able to express themselves without limitation, without constraint, okay? That ability to really kind of show up and be present as they intend to, right? And again, it comes from the inside, creating of themselves. They attempt very much to create the ideal in their relationships. And they really do prefer independence, doing what they feel like doing, again, rather than having to conform to social constructs or expectations. They really do go after things to demonstrate their uniqueness in their relationships, in their life, in their presentation, in their homes, and everything about it is about that creative expression of themselves. They do seek to be understood, okay, and to be accepted. So while they don't like to conform, they do have that need to feel like they are being accepted and that they are understood, truly, truly, deeply, in a meaningful way understood. And last but not least, this relationship style prefers one-to-one relating. Okay? They like to relate with fewer people and have really meaningful relationships. We talk about that deep bonding that they're looking for. That is very different than the style I talked about last week, which is the socializer, the extroverting of this function, which is much more about connected. It's much more superficial. This is about meaningful one-to-one relationships and connections. So how does this translate out? So when we think about this style in terms of their relationships, there's a number of things that really characterize and help you to understand if this is someone or the style of someone that you're in a relationship with. They are values-based, and everything is very, very personal. They tend to focus very much on how they feel when they are with another person, and they think about how that other person might be judging them or judging their conversation skills. Should the other person be entertaining and engaging? So they're always referring that judgment against themselves, and the challenge is that they can often see themselves as coming up as lacking, as opposed to really being able to appreciate themselves and for their gifts and their talents. Okay? Again, that predominant need to be creative means that they really do have a pleasant and friendly persona, but with a deep capacity for love and caring. Okay? And they do it with the intensity of their whole being. And they really seek to experience another person loving them with that same intensity. Okay? So it's, again, they bond deeply, they bond authentically when they're at their best self. And it's real intense singular focus when it comes to relationships. Okay? And again, they're trying to create it into what they imagine can be possible. And again, looking for the cues on this one: deep, meaningful conversations, complex personalities they have here that are both sensitive and passionate, and they need to be able to have that freedom to be who they are in their relationships. They also have a real need to be friends with their mates, okay? And they are very compassionate and can really show their caring. So they're looking for mutual sensitivity in that. They're independent. As I talked about earlier, one of the things that really characterizes this style is that need to stand out, to be unique, to be independent. And that can actually cause them to send out mixed signals sometimes to people, right? And so it can be really confusing. They don't want to be like everyone else because they prefer independence and authenticity, but then they will angst over what it is they're wearing or what other people are thinking, or because they don't want to attract too much attention and get noticed, okay? So again, there's a lot of sort of energy that goes into and thinking and making up stories and creating things in that process of their relationship. The other thing that you want to know about them is they are idealistic and perfectionistic, okay? And they are the most romantic and the most idealistic of all of the styles. And they love being in love, right? They spend time dreaming about that perfect relationship, as much time doing that as actually being in one. And they long for this, right? And so they can actually assign or project exceptional qualities onto the people they meet without actually making sure that those factors are there, okay? And so it's really sort of understanding, again, all of their behavior is driven around that need to create. And along with that is that, that need to create that perfect relationship. And they will do anything. And that includes idealizing their partners and often putting them on a pedestal without looking at them realistically, working hard and not actually being able to kind of hold what it is that they need. Okay? And that takes us into the conversation about need dissatisfiers. One of the things that we know about the artists is they're always seeking to create harmony between that inner world and their outer world, right? And so it's trying to understand that if they're feeling kind of out of balance, if they're feeling hurt or angry, they may then try and make others feel the same way that they do, because that then creates that harmony and balance between their inner world and their outer world, right? And so it's a little bit different, right? It's not, we've talked about some of the other styles, the way they shut down and they withdraw. With the artist is that they're going to want the other person to feel and to show that they are feeling what it is that the artist themselves, or the INFP and the ISFP, is feeling.